Welcome back to Powered by Primus, and in today's video I wanted to show you guys a deck that I've been theory crafting for quite some time, finally built, put together, played a few games, and it turns out it's better than I thought. I am calling the deck Primeval, and it does revolve around Nemisis Prime. As everyone knows, if you don't already know, Nemisis Prime is really good. Nemisis Prime in his robot mode has 7 attack, 16 health, and 2 armor. However, he has the ability on his robot mode that whenever you have to shuffle your scrap pile into your deck, you get to put the bottom card under Nemisis Prime. For each card under him, he gets +3 attack. Now normally when you have to shuffle your scrap pile back into your deck, if your opponent's not close to dead, it usually means that you've probably lost the game. However, with hyper orange decks, such as this one and the Insecticons, shuffling your scrap into your deck happens pretty often. I would say it triggers at least once per game and you still have a winning chance on board. However, with this one, you have a really high chance of flipping through your deck a second time, bringing Nemisis Prime's base attack to 13. Now just for this video, we're going to leave it at you will flip through once and you'll have a base attack of 10, which is still more than enough to get the job done. When you flip Nemisis Prime into into his truck mode, you get to do 2 damage to one of your opponent's characters. They do have to choose the character, however, you do not, but it's essentially making your opponent have to plasma burst one of their own characters. He still has 6 attack, 16 health, and 2 armor as well. Now the next character in the build is Demolisher. Now, Demolisher has always been a really interesting card for me. I love him in a heavy blue tank deck, but I thought it'd be really fun to put him in a heavy orange aggro build. So that's why we put him in here. Now he does have 0 attack in his robot mode, but the trick to him is whenever he attacks, you get to flip extra cards equal to his defense. So he'll always flip 2 for his normal attack, and then as long as you have no abilities or buffs on him, he will flip 4 additional cards. So flipping a total of 6. It is pretty common in this deck to flip a white on top of that, so then you're flipping 8 most of the time. But again, for the purpose of this video, we're going to do it at its base stats. You're going to be flipping 6, and if you flip 6 oranges, then you're getting 6 damage. You're getting double oranges, then you're going up to that. I'm going to show you guys a clip, but we did get to swing with Demolisher in one game where he did swing for 16 damage by himself. So it's pretty insane the amount of damage that he himself can put out. The one thing I also like to compare him to in this build is Kickback for the Insecticons. One of the advantages to this deck is just its pure raw power, not really relying on having to have specific cards in your hand or flipping specific cards as well, because the deck has all orange battle icons. There are 0 blue battle icons, so you're always going to be flipping damage. He's always going to be attacking for quite a bit just by himself. When you flip to his tank mode, you get to draw 1 card for each other tank. Surprise, there's no other tanks in the deck, so you will never be flipping Demolisher back. The good news behind that is you don't have to worry about flipping him. You will only be flipping Nemisis Prime for the most part in this build, which is really nice, only having to flip 1 character versus constantly having to choose between who you should flip within the turn. And the last character is going to be a surprise, but it is Arcee. The benefit behind Arcee versus Flame War in the build is that Arcee really is the final punch in the attack. Flame War does give Tough 1, which can be really nice, and she does give Bold 1, which also can be really nice, but again, you have to rely on your flips. With Arcee, and with this being such an orange-heavy deck, Arcee has Pierce equal to her attack while in robot mode. So if you happen to put a grenade launcher or some of the other cards on here, she's going to be always doing that pierce damage. And if anyone is low on life or is close to dead, Arcee will always go in and clean up the last little bit, which is what makes her so powerful in this build. In addition to that, you could flip to her motorcycle mode, which allows you to repair 1 damage from all of your characters. It is definitely not a bad ability. If you don't want to flip Nemisis Prime because you're about to shuffle your scrap pile, it's always really nice to flip Arcee and just heal a few damage if you can. One thing I do want to note is that a lot of people are still kind of iffy about Demolisher, and some of them do run Thundercracker in the build. Now, Thundercracker is not a bad character in this build, so if you do want to try it, by all means, go for it. It will do a little more damage early game. You will be getting that extra damage, seeing as how Demolisher does have 0, where Thundercracker does have 5. In addition to that, Thundercracker says whenever you play an action, this gets +1 until the end of turn, so it does give it a little more damage. In addition to that, if you flip Thundercracker to his plain mode, you get to do 2 damage to a melee character. Now, you do have to hope that they have a melee character, but the benefit is if they do, you get to choose which character, which really pairs well nice with Nemisis Prime. You're always going to be flipping to do damage. However, the one disadvantage is you won't be flipping nearly as many cards because Thundercracker will only flip 2, where Demolisher is flipping 6. And again, cycling through the deck can always be a bonus because you're going to get more damage off of Nemisis Prime. So you're more than welcome to go with either character that you want. I've been playing a lot with Demolisher, and I feel like Demolisher is just a better character for this build specifically. But if you do have any other opinions, let us know down in the comment section below. I would love to see your reasoning. Alright, the first thing that we're going to get into is the upgrades. And of course, with all Hyper Orange decks, the first thing we have to go with is Grenade Launcher. Grenade Launcher says after you attack, you have to scrap the card. It is an orange battle icon, so flipping into it is really good. In addition to that, it gives your character +4 attack. So on Barrage, it gives him the on Demolisher, it gives him the +4, on Nemi +4, and then with the Arcee specifically, it will give her Pierce 5 right off of the bat, which is always really good. Next card we're going to show is Flamethrower. Flamethrower, again, it's an orange battle icon, great card to put on any character, and gives Bolt 2, which means that we're going to be flipping more cards when we attack, which again is the entire purpose of the deck. The next card we have is Datapad. Datapad is a fantastic addition to this deck. It has a white battle icon, so when you do flip for attacks, you get to flip 2 more cards, hopefully flipping a couple more oranges, maybe some double oranges. But in addition, when it is upgraded to a character, that character gets to draw when they attack, and you can choose to put a card from your hand on top of your deck. There are very specific cards in this deck list that if you do draw them, they're better on top of your deck, such as double orange cards. We will get into those later. Also, if you would like to keep the card that you draw, happen you draw a card that you really are wanting to go, you are not required to put a card on top of your deck. One thing that I do with this is try to put double oranges on, or sometimes I'll even put an extra white battle icon card from my hand on top to ensure that I get 2 more flips when attacking. We do run 2 force fields in the build. Force field, again, white battle icon, great to flip when attacking, but it does ensure that if you want to play it on some of your squishier characters, that they will be able to take that extra bit of damage. Force field says that when the upgraded character takes more than 5 damage in a single attack, you get to scrap force field and they only take 4 damage instead. Again, it's just a really nice protective card to put on any of your characters just to ensure that if your opponent is going to be trying to kill off your Demolisher or kill off your Arcee, you can try to make them last for 1 more turn, getting in 1 more attack. The next card is Improvised Shield. Now, Improvised Shield is mainly ran in here because it has double orange battle icons. Again, it's great to flip into. It's what you really want to flip into. With the Datapad, it is a great card to put back on top of your deck, seeing as how it's kind of a dead card in your hand. It is an upgrade armor. However, it only gives you tough 1, seeing as how we have no blue battle icons in the deck. You really don't want to ever be playing this from your hand and putting it onto a character. You want to be trying to get it scrapped out of your hand so you can shuffle it back into your deck, or putting it back on top with Datapad and a card that we will be showing later on. The next one that we're going to be running is a one-of Debilitating Crystal. I've been running one of these in pretty much every deck that I've been building lately. I feel like 2 is almost too many sometimes, and 3 is definitely too much, but 1 is a fantastic number. It is a white battle icon, so flipping those on attacks is always good again, but it says when the upgraded character attacks, you get to return one of the defending character's upgrades to its owner's hand. This is a really nice card if your opponent does have a force field down, or does have a flamethrower down, or a Datapad. What it does is ships that card back to the opponent's hand and then makes them have to replay that card if they want. Benefit is it gets it out of your way when you're attacking, such as an armor card or, like I said, force field. Or it has to make them replay it on the next turn, which doesn't advance their board at all. They're stuck playing the same card again. And anytime that you can take more board advantage, you're always going to have the natural advantage. And then finally, we have a little tech card here. and that's multi-mission gear. Now, multi-mission gear has a separate, different thing in this deck that makes it really well. First off, it's an orange battle icon, so when we're flipping, we're always going for those oranges. It's an armor, which gives +1 armor to the character that's upgraded with it. But when you equip it to a specialist, you get to play an additional action. Arcee is a specialist, so if you do play it onto her, you will get to play a second action, which is always really, really nice. It's essentially a middle brainstorm without having to play a blue card in the deck. There's tons and tons of actions in the deck. You will always have 2 in your hand, so it's really nice to be able to get 2 of those out. A fun little trick with it as well, which is one of the reasons why I like Demolisher over Thundercracker for the build, is you can put it on Demolisher. Sure, you don't get the extra action, but you will get 1 additional armor, which means that you will get to flip 1 more additional card when Demolisher attacks. It essentially will give him bold 1. So it does have a benefit if Arcee is dead late game, mid game, or even if you don't have any actions in your hand and you want to attack with Demolisher for more, it will give him that option. Now let's get into the actions. The first action we're going to be showing off is Supercharger. Supercharger is a must-have in all hyper orange decks or bold decks. Anything that you're really trying to push damage for, it's a great, great card. First off, it's an orange battle icon, so again, pushing that damage, and it gives a character bold 3. Putting it on such like Arcee, that gets her 3 more flips to get extra pierce, and putting it on Demolisher means that with a base attack with Supercharger on there, Demolisher will be flipping 9 cards. It is essentially a fourth of your deck in just 1 flip. Again, helping you really cycle through that deck to help get Nemisis Prime up even more in that damage. The next card is Incoming Transmission. Again, Incoming Transmission's fantastic card. It has an orange battle icon. It lets you draw 2 additional cards, which helps you cycle through your deck a little faster, helps you find some of the answers that you're looking for, or cards to help buff you later on, and then it lets you put a card from back on top of your deck. This card is great specifically for putting those improvised shields and another card we're going to be showing off here in a second back on top of your deck for that double orange battle icon, or again, if you don't have any, putting a white on top to ensure you get 2 more flips when you do get to go to attack. Next card we're going to be showing off is Rapid Conversion. I considered Rollout in the deck for quite a long time. Rollout does have an orange battle icon, which was really nice, but I don't want to be forcing Arcee or Demolisher to flip, seeing as how I'm not a huge fan of the other side of their abilities. I'm primarily wanting them to stay in robot mode. Rapid Conversion allows me to flip any of those cards at any specific time if I wish. You want to be trying to flip Nemisis Prime every turn, but the really benefit is if you can flip Nemisis Prime into his truck mode, make your opponent do 2 damage, and then play Rapid Conversion and flip your Nemisis Prime back into his robot mode, you're back to doing more of that damage, which is always beneficial. In addition to that, it is a white battle icon, so it's easy to flip 2 more additional cards when you attack once you flip this card. Next up is a 2 of Ramming Speed. Ramming Speed is an orange battle icon card. In addition to that, it scraps an enemy upgrade. It's really in the deck specifically to target other cards such as Force Field, Reinforced Plating, anything that's really trying to stop you from putting in that damage. The next card we have is a 2 of Treasure Hunt. Treasure Hunt is an orange battle icon, and Treasure Hunt says when you get to play this, you get to scrap the top 4 cards of your deck, and you get to put all upgrades from those 4 into your hand and the rest into your scrap pile. Again, really cool card for helping you cycle through 4 more cards of your deck to get Nemi back online, but also there are very few good upgrades that you want to try to dig from this. We did show off the grenade launcher, flamethrowers, force fields are really good to get, data pads are great, so it just really helps you put more of that utility into your hand while also cycling through your deck. Next up we have a 3 of is Zap. Zap is a great card. Zap has an orange battle icon for pushing damage, but Zap also allows you to do 1 damage to an enemy. You get to specifically target an enemy, and sometimes it can make or break an entire attack. You flip Nemesis, maybe your opponent puts 2 on one of the characters they don't want, or late game, maybe one person lived with like 1 or 2 life. Zap will really get to put in that damage over time, and like I said, if you can manage to finish off a character, then you can focus your next attack onto someone completely different. The next 3 of is Peace Through Tyranny. Now, Peace Through Tyranny is a double orange battle icon, so it absolutely works so good with this deck. Again, you get to put it on top of your deck with incoming transmission or data pad, but it also has the hidden effect of you can actually play it in this deck. Its ability says you may KO one of your characters that has 6 or more stars. If you do, take an extra turn after this. Now, it does not work on Arcee, seeing as how she has 5 stars. However, your opponent's probably going to see how much your Demolisher is doing damage, and they're going to try to go for Demolisher as soon as they can. The ideal part of this deck is that you want to be flipping Demolisher first turn, and you want to be sending him out the door. You could also send Nemi first. Either way is totally okay, depending on what you're going up against. But I will usually send Demolisher first. What you can do is after your Demolisher is close to death and you've already been tapped down with him, it's easy to play the Peace Through Tyranny to be able to take an additional turn and really punish your opponent. It's a fantastic card. Again, like I said, double orange battle icons. It is a must-have in the deck. The next 3 we have is One Shall Stand and One Shall Fall. Now, this is a fantastic card. I wish it had a battle icon, however, because of what it does, I understand why it doesn't have a battle icon. But what it does, you get to choose one of your characters and one of your opponent's characters, and you deal 3 damage to each of those. Now, normally doing 3 damage to yourself is never that fun, but because Nemisis Prime has 16 health, he can take quite a bit of damage. If you really need to also do it to one of your other characters to ensure a kill, you totally can. But doing 3 direct damage to a character is an insane amount of damage. And again, if you can manage to KO a character by playing this, you can avoid having to attack that character next turn and can focus on someone completely different. This card is a must-have in most hyper orange decks. It is just really good. It's great for mirror matches, and it just really helps throw the calculations off for your opponent when they think, okay, cool, this guy can take this much more damage, or you can play this and it will really turn the tide of a turn. And the last 2 cards that we have in the deck are I Still Function. Now, I Still Function is a fantastic card, especially in this list in general. It allows you to remake any 3 of your characters, because I Still Function says you get to return one of your KO'd characters that has 12 or fewer stars from the to the battlefield. You get to put all the damage on them, which leaves them with 1 life. It usually won't ever matter because they go away at the end of the turn anyway. But you get to bring Demolisher back a lot like you get to bring Kickback back from the Insecticon deck. You can leave him in his robot mode. Again, you're never flipping him, so when he dies, you get to play I Still Function. You get to bring him back, and then he gets to attack for a crazy amount of damage. In addition to that, if you want to even bring back your Nemisis Prime, if your Nemisis Prime went out first, it's fine. Nemisis Prime will go in for big amounts of damage. In addition to that, you can bring back Arcee if your opponent has 1 or 2 health left on a character that needs to be KO'd. You can I Still Function your Arcee back, and you can go in for that piercing damage and finish off that character, no problem. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. If there's a deck that you guys want us to specifically do a profile on and get more in-depth about the card choices and why, let us know down below in the comment section. We would love to do them. I'm also going to be posting some videos of this deck in gameplay so you guys get to see how it plays as well. I'm also going to be going on vacation from my normal job this week, so I'm going to be posting tons of content on the channel. So if you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe so you guys can get those as soon as they pop up. And as normal, if you guys did enjoy this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. It really shows us your guys' support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.